What up, guys? Jason Geiman here with PressureWashHelp.com, King of Pressure Washing, and tonight I got Donovan on, and I want to hit on. I was actually seeing some stuff early, and I want to hit on, why do people go out of business? Why are some things that cause people go out of business? And a lot of it has to come down with is how much are you worth? Are you worth $300 an hour? What makes you worth $300 an hour? What are things that set you apart to make you worth $300 an hour, or $400 an hour, or $500 an hour, maybe $1,000 an hour? I'm not there to judge what you're worth. So that's what I'm going to hit on. I've actually got 7, 8 points that we're going to hit on. I got Donovan here with me that we're going to shoot these back and forth. So before we get started, just in case nobody knows who Donovan is, Donovan, tell me a little bit of just who are you and that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So my name's Donovan Questenberry. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, so starting my own business it was second nature to me. In high school, I tell everybody right about the time you get interested in ladies, find out you gotta have a little bit of money, makes things a little bit more fun. And yeah, Big Rob, it was great seeing you there. And so I started my own business in high school. It was a window cleaning company. I decided to go full time after I graduated high school and kind of played around with the business, for I don't know, 5 years, probably just kind of played around with it, put it on cruise control. I kind of got my business up to the point where I didn't have to work. I didn't have to go out on the truck. I didn't have to answer the phone all the time. I just kind of got it to the point where my lifestyle was paid off and kind of put on cruise control. And about 3 or 4 years ago, I met Jason online pretty much, and we hit it off real well. Jason introduced me to a premium price structure, whereas before I didn't quite know that my value, and I was doing everything really competitively priced. And while my lifestyle was paid off, like if we ever had like a down month or 2 weeks of rain or anything like that, like I was struggling. It was one of those situations where, I barely, I was barely getting by, even though everything looked good from the outside. I didn't quite know my market value. I didn't know my personal value. And hey, Reggie, I thought you said you were going to swing by the shop. I thought you said that was going to happen, Reggie. Hey, what's going on there, Reggie? Hasn't happened yet. It's been 2 weeks. Um, so
I was giving him crap
anyway,
earlier tonight too. So Reggie is he was one of our students last year. He's supposed to be a student this year for Christmas lights, and so he
I'm
didn't even
excited to
come
see it.
he didn't even come to my class at the Huge. I mean, he picked somebody, some schmuck other than me. So I don't know what
What's
that's
up with
about.
that,
So.
man? What's up with that? So yeah, kind of like Jason, I'm a family man guy. I'm married, got 2 kids, got one on the way, and then my hobby is dog training. So I got a little puppy who likes to nibble on people, and we encourage it a little bit.
And if you don't know Donovan, he likes to talk out loud a lot. So he's not yelling at you. Well, he might be, but not really. So he just gets happy and excited, but he
Yeah,
also has reasons why he talks loud too. So he says. But
yeah. No, my wife and all her family is pretty much deaf. So the fact that I'm always yelling at everybody, people who met me at the I'm coming. I've been very busy. Yeah, okay. Um, So everybody who met me at the huge is like, man, why are you yelling? Well, my wife has hearing loss, so I'm just naturally pretty loud. And then when I get excited about business. I like a few things. I like farming, I like my dogs, I like my family, and then I like business. So if we're talking about any of those things, I'm just like a little kid on sugar. I just get bubbly and I get real passionate about it. So
yep, I agree. So the number one thing I think that I see that can help people be successful in business is it's all about the mindset. A lot of times, and me and my wife's been talking about this a lot here lately of the whole mindset issues of you know is are you have a positive mindset? Do you have a mentality to be able to have a mindset of making money? Like I put on there, the $300 an hour. This is something that you got to have a mindset for that. Because if you don't have a mindset for that, there's no way you will be able to get to that. That's just part of what you got to have, that positive mindset. Setting goals. I was listening to Grant Cardone's book 10X. When we set goals, don't set $100,000 goal. 10x that. Go for $1 million. What's worse can happen? You come up at 200,000. Well, it's better than your first original goal, because what happens is if you set a goal of say 100,000 and you get close to it in at 6 months, well, then you're not going to try very hard the next 6 months. And so having that positive mindset can really set you apart and really push you and get you to the next level. What's your thought on a positive mindset?
I think a positive mindset is probably the number one requirement of an entrepreneur. I really think that it's that important. And I also think that entrepreneurs, we have a tendency to not work well with other people, or maybe we work well with other people, but maybe not listen to other people as well as we should unless we see like great value in them. And another characteristic is just our, if you're like me, like I know my happiness level or my activity level can do this quite a bit, right? So when I'm up here, right, I'm the most productive person in the world. But then also, we get happy, we get burnt out. All right, we're gonna take a break, we're gonna binge watch Netflix, we're gonna come down here, we're not gonna work on. And the next thing you know, like we can be down here, and if life hits us when we're down here, if something happens to our business, if we wreck our truck, or dog gets hit by a car, if something happens while we're down here, we have a tendency to stay down here as business owners. I've seen it so many times. It's not just business burnout, but it's like a state of depression. And I've seen it so much with business owners that you can literally stay there. And it's happened to me before. I'll be real transparent. Like, um, my wife and I didn't have any kids yet. So, but I believe I was married at the time. Yep, we were definitely married, because I noticed that what happened is I got to that place where I can't even tell you what led to it, but I just got to that inactivity. I didn't have anything to like get me motivated again. I wasn't doing jobs like I should at that time. A lot of the work was dependent upon me. We maxed out our credit cards, and I literally just sat on my ass and did nothing. And it took, it just took me a jump start, a good mental attitude, and then it took like me just kind of getting out of it. And what it did to our finances, I mean, it took us a full year to dig ourselves out of that. So I've just like, when you've been that kind of low before, you realize you're like, all right, I'm going to do whatever it takes to never get in that position again. And for me, it's like having that good attitude. And I also know I kind of like hyper fixate on things. So I'm going to spend a whole lot of time doing this one thing, but then I'm going to stop doing it, and I'm going to spend a whole leave it. Hey, hush. Um, and then I'm going to spend a whole lot of time focusing on something else. So for me, it's like I've realized when I have that good attitude and I'm super productive, I need to go ahead and get that task or whatever to a place where I can delegate it to somebody else so that they can continue with that, that good attitude.
Yep.
So that's what I've learned, to move from good state, productive state, to good state, to good state, to good state. And having a great attitude, it's the most important thing.
You know, and I've been hitting on the positive attitude a lot here myself. And it's not just about business. It's about dealing with your kids, having that positive attitude with your kids, not saying you can't do that. Yes, you can do anything you want. If you have parents that are, the negative Nellies, that can be really hard on you, especially as an adult. And so don't do that to your own kids. Don't be a negative Nelly to your own kids. Yes, they can do anything they want. If it costs money, then maybe you need to go work a little bit more. Do we need to do that within restraints? Yes. But, don't be like, well, we can't do that. We can't do this. We can't. Be positive. When you are a positive, it will help your kids be so much better. They can do so much more than you would ever even dream of when they got a positive, supporting parent. So it's not just in business, but it's also in parenting too. So,
I,
Donovan,
I
go
think a
ahead.
lot of times, like what I've noticed is that um, I would talk to, like, this past, what was it, 2 weeks ago was a huge, it was 2 weeks now, 2 or 3 weeks. And I was talking to people, um, 100, at least 100 different people I think I got to talk to, and really kind of connect with them. I mean, other people I just said hi and bye, but I think I really got a chance to connect to probably 100 people over the 2 or 3 days that we were there. And I would ask the same questions. Hey, why are you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? And what really amazed me was that the same exact reason for somebody doing it was also the same exact excuse why somebody else was not doing it. It was the same exact thing. Well, my family, this is the reason why I'm doing this. Well, my family, I got too many things. That's why I can't do this. I mean, literally, it was the same exact reason, and the difference was the positive mindset, looking at it in a positive light, saying I can, or looking at it in a positive light, saying I can't. I don't have enough money, so I need to go advertise. I don't have enough money, so I can't advertise my business. It's literally, I mean, literally the same exact reasoning. And the difference was either I can or I can't.
Yep. It's all with that T. And then the number two thing is Donovan hit on it. You can't be scared to work hard. If you're not willing to do what it takes, then stop right now, because it is going to take some time. Now, I'm not saying you got to, some of these people, you got to hustle and you got to grind 80 hours a week and never see your family. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, I might say that you might need to do that for a little bit just to get going and stuff like that. But I'm not saying you got to do this year in and year out, because at that point, I'm all about family. I want my kids to know who I am. I don't want my kids to think I'm just somebody that works all the time and I'm just supporting their habits and stuff. I want to be there with them. And so I want you to be there. Like, I had Greg Townsend on, and he's their football coach, and he's sending me that they won this weekend. And I know that's what he wants and down deep. Pressure washing allows us to do that, but that's what he wants to do, and that's the thing. And so don't overwork that you just got to keep going, keep going, keep going. Because a lot of times what this mentality comes down to is I got to do all this work. And what the biggest problem is you're not charging enough. You're not
Yeah.
doing the things that you need to do to charge enough, because you don't think your worth is what you are really worth. You think you're worth $50 an hour when really you should be thinking your worth is $300 an hour, $500 an hour. Those are the things that you got to really look out at and do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at it this way, everybody, so I'm kind of known for gutter cleaning. That's our bread and butter service. We like to hop on ladders, we like to hop on roofs and run around like monkeys. That doesn't bother us at all. And if you look at what does the average person get paid for cleaning gutters? Well, it's a task that anybody can do. I mean, anybody can do it. Literally, you got 70-year-old grandpas climbing up there, with a rake, scraping stuff out of the gutter. So the average person doesn't get paid anything for that. The average person, if we average it out, you got one house, you got 20 people who would hire their grandkids to do it for, $20. You got 20 people who do it themselves, and you got 30 people who'd pay $100, and you got 10, 15, 20 of them that would pay $300. So the range goes from from 300 to free. And so what's your average in there? Well, if you're just looking at what most people would pay, then you're never going to charge the $300, right? Um, so knowing your worth, I mean, knowing what to charge and stuff like that, my piece of advice is like, hey, go look at the most successful businesses. If you don't know what you're worth, if you don't know where to start, go look at the most successful businesses, and those are typically the ones who can afford for advertising on Google. Find 3 of them, call them, see how much they charge for a job, get them to price out a job, and there's a good place to start. And if you're already offering that service and you're hundreds of dollars less than that, then you need to know right then and there you don't understand your value, and you need to quit pricing things between your head, and you need to listen to some folks like Jason.
And I want to prove this as a point. We were talking to a guy from I believe he was from Illinois, St. Louis area, and he's up there and he's like, man, I'm pricing right with all these other guys. And we're like, what are these other guys? He started this year and this guy started this year. And Dan Platt is like, and I'm saying, wait, you're not competing with these guys. You want to go compete with these guys that are doing $1 $2 $3 million. These are the guys you're competing with. We don't want the guys that are just getting into business, because they don't know what they're doing and charging in the first place. We want to go find out what the big dogs are charging. If you want to know what somebody's charging, I want you to go check out pressure washing PPW up in Cleveland, Ohio, in that area. They're in a very area. When you get their quote, you're like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
They're quoting stuff out at $2,000, and they're getting it. Now, you know what else they're doing? They're screwing the low guy, because the low guy is bidding $600, and they'll go all the way down to $500. You know why? Because they don't care. They're making it up here on the big dogs, and so they can do that. And so, those are the people we want to be pricing with. We don't want to be pricing with all the little guys. We want to be pricing with the big guys. And so what makes you worth that much? What makes me worth $1,000 an hour? What makes me worth $300 an hour? Well, there's not some person out there saying, well, you can only make this. Now, what there is out there is you have an employee mindset. And it goes back to the whole mindset. If you have an employee mindset, your mindset is I work this many hours, I make $20 an hour, so that's what my worth is. So if I can go do pressure wash and make $50 an hour, I'm doing well. But see, that's an employee mindset. That's not the person thinking, well, what about marketing? What about all the other things that go along with it? So yes, in reality, $300 an hour isn't what you're making, but it's part of where you got to be at to get there to where you need to get to the next level.
I think like if somebody's real analytical, if they're like a numbers person, numbers have always made sense to me. And one reason why I stayed low price for as long as I did is I didn't quite understand the different roles in a business that I personally was fulfilling, and then what it would cost me to replace those roles if I wasn't the one doing it. Um, I distinctly remember I had a conversation with a business owner, and he asked me, "All right, when you went off the truck, how did that? Well, like when I finally came off the truck, when I was out of the field, um, what how much lower was my profit percentage?" And I said, "It didn't change at all." And he didn't understand that. He's like, "Well, what do you mean you had to hire other people?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely. But my profit didn't change at all, right?" So I was doing, when I'm on the truck and when I'm answering the phone and when I'm doing marketing and when I'm doing all these other things, that doesn't affect my profit. I'm simply paying myself a wage to do those things. So yeah, I'm earning an income, but the profit is the same. I'm going to earn 10% of profit after, now while I'm working on the truck, maybe I make $200 in a day. And when I'm off the truck, I only put $50 in my pocket. But essentially what that means is that I was working for $150 when I was on the truck, and I was doing marketing, I was doing all this other type of stuff. Um,
You know who
uh,
that is, don't you, Big George?
yeah, yeah. I know George is. Man, I should be an inspiration to everybody, because if I can do it, I promise any of y'all can do it.
All
um,
right.
yeah.
So that's a good point. So number three, develop a relationship with customers by providing excellent customer service, going above and beyond expectations, and being proactive in communication. This in here is probably one of the biggest things that a lot of people struggle with. To be proactive in communication. In this world, communication is everything. If you want to set yourself apart, you have the most amazing communication in every aspect. This is the one thing that will set you apart more than anybody else. From your follow ups, from answering the phone, to talking on the phone, to talking in the person. But communication goes a long ways, more than what you do. But this is providing excellent service, and that's, we're going to set our expectation here for our customer, but then we're going to go one step above that. And that's going to be the wow factor. That's going to be, oh, you did this for me? Look at this. And that is what we want at the end of the day. And so when we do this, these are some things that will set you apart from your competition. This here is how you get that higher dollar amount right here, right by itself. I was actually on one of my Zoom calls with my guys earlier today, with whoever's in the membership. And Dane is out of Lakeland, Florida. And he's like, I talked to I communicated to the customer. The customer said I was way too high. And I was going to use somebody else. They tried to use the other person. They didn't communicate. They wasn't professional. They came back to Dane, and Dane is actually he had 3 tiers pricing, and they didn't pick the bottom one. They didn't pick the middle one. They picked his most expensive package. Now, that's what being professional, setting expectations, and just going all out on communication can do for your pressure washing business. What's your thoughts on customer service side of things?
I think it ties into pricing quite a bit too, right? Um, when you're pricing enough, like you don't have to play mental ping pong of should I give the best service? Because giving the best service, it costs us money and it costs us time as business owners. And I think that if you have the mindset of giving good safety, or excuse me, giving good customer service or having a high level of safety, like that's a mindset. And I think you need to set yourself up to simply eliminate the option of not doing that. Okay. So what I mean by that is if that customer, you're going to make $50 profit off them, well, who gives a flying fuck if you give them good service or not? I mean, who cares? It's $50. Well, if that customer's worth $50,000, then guess what? You're going to do whatever it takes to keep them happy. And when Miss Jones complains about that one little leaf that is stuck to her front door after you power washed everything, you say, Miss Jones, I am so sorry. And you're going to go out there and you're going to have a bouquet of flowers and you're going to take that leaf off and you're going to take a picture of it and you're going to give her the flowers and say, I'm so sorry. Um, and you're going to be like, if there's anything else, please just don't hesitate to, and you're going to go out of your way. Um, and I can't tell you, I mean, again, when I developed this mindset is when I started doing Christmas lights. Christmas lights. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. Christmas lights. Right? And that customer is worth like 20, 30, 40, $50,000 over the span of a lifetime to me. And so I adopted the mindset of I'm going to charge enough that I don't care if this is the most picky, biggest pain in the butt client that I ever have to work for. I'm going to show up with a smile, a genuine smile on my face, and do whatever it takes to make them happy every single time. Um, and it's kind of like, hey, if you got a new hire and somebody pays you in all cash and you leave it there and you send them out on the truck and you let the clients pay you in all cash, do you think that all that's going to be there? Well, I don't know, but I know that if I took a credit card, there's no way that they could steal it. So just eliminate that would be my piece of advice. Eliminate any way for you to not give the best customer service, and it'll pay off in the long run.
Yep. All right. Number 4, find the right customers. A lot of times we like to go find the wrong customers. We want to go to them neighborhoods that they're dirty. I mean, they're just nasty, green, dirty. Their roofs are all black. And that's got to be the best area to go into.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times that's not the best area. We want to go find where our customers are. We want to go find those customers that live in those $200 to $300 to $800,000 houses. Those are the ones we want. We want to find good customers. We don't want to find cheap customers. And so, we want to find customers that value their time. We want to, because, how much is your time worth with your kids? Is it worth $20? Is it worth $100? Is it worth $1,000? We don't know. So, this is the things that you got to look at when we're looking for anything along the lines of finding the right customers. And, you're not always going to find the right customers everywhere. You're going to find the Karens, but we have to find the right customers.
Yeah, so I'll give an analogy. I do not care about my grass in my front yard. I don't care about it. I got places right now where it's just lines of dirt because I bought some siding and I left it there for 2 months and it killed all the grass and it hasn't grown back in the last 6 months and I haven't fertilized it. I don't cut it myself. I let it get so long that the people who come and visit me are ashamed and they cut it for me while they're visiting me at the house. Like I just don't care. All right. Now, if a landscaping company comes up and says, "Hey, dude, I can cut your grass. It's like a foot tall," and I'd be like, "How much are you going to charge?" "Well, I'll do it for $30. I'm already doing your neighbors." Yeah, go ahead and do it. Go ahead. But they would have to drive by every single week and convince me And then like every 2 or 3 weeks, I'd be like, nah, it ain't really that tall. I don't care. Nah, you can come check in on me again. Just check in next time. I will never be that person who every 7 to 10 days hires a company to come back out and cut my grass and aerate it and mulch and weed. And that will never be me. So if you're trying to build a business, what do you want? You want a one-off cheap customer like me who doesn't care, doesn't value your service, who you may be able to talk into, or you may be able to get a one-off type job if you catch them at the right time? Or would you like a customer who every 7 to 10 days, I mean, they want that perfect manicured lawn and they see the value in there and they're willing to pay you for it? Well, that's a no-brainer. So then, as a business owner, if we're flipping that around, how do you find the person? Well, what you do is you go after the lawns that are professionally maintained, and you say, "Hey, I noticed that the tips of your grass are a little brown. It looks like that whoever's cutting your grass is doing it during high heat. Maybe he has too much work on his schedule. It really should be cut first thing in the morning. My company specializes in that, so we can eliminate this little tiny bit right here. Hey, I can give you a better service. Or hey, one special that we're running right now is free bush trimming if you have us do our lawn maintenance. Or you go out there, you say, hey, I see your lawn's professionally serviced, and you keep track of that. And in the following spring, you tell them, hey, your first month is 100% free. We're going to come out and cut your grass for a month, 100% free, and prove to you that we're going to earn your business because you know the lifetime value of that customer. So again, instead of targeting me, who doesn't care, you get creative about targeting the right client. And the easiest way of doing that is finding people who are already paying for it and then just being better at customer service or being a bigger expert at the actual service that you're providing.
That's a great point. Like I've got these things right here that I've had for about a year now, or yeah, about 6 8 months, and my gutters are overflowing. And my wife is on me, and it's still sitting on my desk because I got to do a video about it. And yes, my
Yep.
gutters are still overflowing, and I need to get it done. And I know the effects that
Yep.
can happen to the house, but I'm not my customer. So get out there and find the right customers. All right, this one here is one of my favorites. Is develop a marketing strategy that works for you and your business.
Yeah.
What you mean? I got to do marketing? Well, yes. In fact, if the two most important probably on here is develop a marketing strategy and develop a relationship with customers. We have to do marketing, whatever we're doing with marketing, 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 marketing. Marketing is what's going to grow your business. That's what's going to get it to the next level. I know some guys that, they do a lot of signs. They do hundreds of signs. They make, Donovan kind of grew his business on the sign bit way of doing signs.
Yep.
And yes, even when he was doing the $79 gutter cleanouts and $99 gutter cleanouts, that's where he was getting all his business with signs. He just got a website. What was it? Last year, a professionally done website. All
Yeah.
these
Two,
people are
two,
like,
three.
oh, I got to get a website. The website's going to grow my business. The website ain't going to do crap. If you think a website's just going to start making your phone just explode, you got another thing coming. Now, if you got time and you got money to set into it and money to sink into it, and you got time to get that, then that's a different story. But if you're trying to get up and going, a website ain't going to get you going. He was in business for a long time without a website. Bobby Walker been in business a long time, 4 or 5 years before he ever got a website. So, just some things that you got to think about. Do signs, do Facebook, do whatever you're going to do, but do it. And you got to go all in. This is kind of like where Donovan was saying he's got ADD and he can hyper focus on something. That's what I want you to do with marketing. Find one form of marketing and hyper focus on it. I want you to be the best at Facebook. I want you to be the best at putting signs out, that you're doing it relentless. You're doing it prolific and you're doing it relentless. It doesn't matter if it's 6 feet of snow out there, you're putting up them signs. Or you're doing that Facebook Live that probably makes you just cringe inside when I say that word. But you're doing it and you're doing it relentless and you're being hyper focused and you're going to do that. You keep doing that one thing, then it's going to grow other things. So like, for instance, you can do that. And, while you're working on signs, you're working on your Google My Business. You're getting the photos, you're getting the reviews, you're doing all these things. And when you do that, things start growing.
Yeah, you gotta have a plan. I mean, you can't just also just go out and just okay, I'm gonna go do two or three things here, and then maybe I'll try this, and let me try that, and I'll do this. And Jason said to do steps 1 through 10, but I don't agree with steps 7 and 3, so I'm just gonna skip those steps. You got to go out and have a diligent plan. And also, like, say if I don't know where everybody's at on here, I'm sure there's some people who are just starting their business. Um, so I say you don't even need to put in like 17-hour days. That's what I did because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And then I kind of half-assed it during those 17 hours. But my thing is like 8 to 10 hours a day, but that's 7 days a week. And if you're not actually out there working, then you're working to get work. And you need to be doing something. You need to definitely be doing something. And then once you start getting busy, right? So Jason talks about this all the time. You can invest time, or you can invest money, or you can invest both. Well, in the beginning, you probably got a little bit more time than you do money. So once you start working, though, you're putting less time into marketing. So you need to know both of those. You need to know, how do I get clients? If I need clients and I only have time to invest, how do I get them? If I need clients and I only have money to invest, how do I get them? That way, when you're busy working, you now have more money coming in, and now you know how to invest money. I know a lot of people, they're like, well, if I go out and knock on 100 doors and put out 300-yard signs and do 30,000 flyers, I know I can get a month's worth of work. Okay, well, then you're going to be working, then you're going to go back down to zero. And I know some people who don't know how to get a single lead off of Google or off of, Facebook or off of any paid service. You got to know both.
Yep. And I see some people saying, you can't do signs, you can't do stuff. Here's the thing, you know what? You might not be able to do that, but you got to do something else then. You got to be super hyper focused on one thing. Don't sit there. I mean, I know I teach throw mud on the wall to see what sticks, but when we find out what sticks, that's what we got to hammer. I mean, we drive that nail till we can't drive no more. We're driving it through the drywall. We're going to drive it till we can't get no more out of that. So if you can't do signs, then you got to come up with different ways. You got to figure out different ways to do it. There's more the ways to skin a cat than one. Maybe you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. And you might say, well, Facebook ads don't work. I didn't say nothing about Facebook ads. There's Facebook as a regular. There's Facebook groups. There's all different kinds of things out there that we can do. It's not just about Facebook, that kind of thing. So don't sit there and think that you can only do certain things and that's it. When we get in that mindset of, well, I can't do that because we're here, then figure out something that you can do. Figure out what you can do. Because when we focus on what we can't do, we don't focus on what we can do. And I want you to focus on what we can do.
And the other thing is like having that good mindset is that you're going to be thinking about it all the time. I mean, I don't know. I've a lot of times gone to bed thinking about something, and then I wake up in the morning and I have the answer. And that's because my brain's still working and I'm always thinking about it. And my brain, like I've trained my brain to look for the answer instead of, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this. I got some people that for every solution I give them, they can come up with another problem. But you gotta really train yourself to like every time you see something, it's a how to. It's how do I overcome this? What's the solution? What's the way out? And when you start thinking that way and you got a positive mindset, like, hey, if Donovan can do it, this skinny, this skinny doofus can do it, and there's definitely a way that I could do it, right? So yeah, I'm telling you, I should inspire you because again, if I can do it, any of y'all can do it. And look at Jason. I'm not saying Jason, but he's not the sharpest tack in the shed. But oh boy, he sold $1 million business, and he's doing pretty good for himself after the fact too. I mean, if we can do it, y'all can do it.
Yep. Amen. And I mean, if Al can do it, anybody can do it.
That's what I was gonna
And
say. I thought you booted Al off, but I guess Al's back. I missed Al last couple of lives.
Al come crying on me on text message and so I had to let him back in because he went to see Greg, and so I told him he had to have his good boy pants on, otherwise he
I
would
like
get
that.
booted again. So
I like that.
um, develop a strategy for lead generation. This kind of goes back into marketing,
Yeah.
appointment settings, and sales conversations, and just systems as in general. Once we get
Yeah.
to a certain level, we got to start coming up with systems. We have to have systems for all different kinds of things. We need systems not only for the operation side of things, we need systems for, how we take phone calls. What's the customer's journey? Basically, that's what we have to figure out is what the customer journey is. And the reason why we're doing this for is the book E-Myth. E-Myth talks about this a lot. E-Myth is one of those things that we want to write down everybody. You're going to write your name in every position, but the goal is to start erasing those positions: ops manager, service manager, technician, secretary, CEO. We got to make sure that we sit there and we can start racing our names out so we can start growing our business. Now, you might not want to grow your business. You might want to be a one-man band, and that's fine. But I also want to recognize you to some things that can happen as a one-man band. If you get hurt, there's a guy in Boston right now. He's twisted his ankle. He's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks because he got hurt. You know what? What's going to happen, especially if you owned your own business and you got hurt right now, are you going to be able to keep feeding your family, or is things going to get a little rough and tough? And so that's what happens. Nick Sick was on the Zoom call tonight, and he got hit by a truck last year, and his leg is jacked up, like it looks like spaghetti jacked up. You know what? He had to go from I'm all by myself to I got to have an employee to be able to do this stuff. And so these are some things that we got to look at and start putting those systems in place so that way we can grow our business.
Yeah, and so I guess specifically talking about the lead generation, or like from a source standpoint, that's one big reason why I really pulled the trigger on having a nice website, is because I was so busy doing other things that my system for capturing those leads, it's not just a matter of generating the leads, but I feel like capturing them and converting them into paying clients. You got to have a system for that. So when you're out in the field, like, what are you going to do when you're taking that phone call, or when a neighbor walks up to you, or everything else? So for me, like, the website was a huge part of that system of lead generation. Of my goal was just get as many people as I can to go to my website, because I don't have a high ranking website on SEO. Very few people find me through just organically through my website, but they're going to find me through Google My Business. They're going to find me through Facebook. They're going to find me through a business card, a yard sign, a flyer, me telling them whatever. And when they go to my website, I want to capture and convert them into a new lead. So, it's also a matter of how are you capturing that lead? I mean, everybody in the world needs gutter cleaning. How are you going to convince them? And when they're convinced, how are they going to find you? So,
Yep.
yep.
And then number 7 is kind of the same with that is creating systems that work for you. And don't be afraid to change if necessary. So, you got to get systems in place. And right now you have systems in place. They might not be the most effective. They might not be very good. So it's okay to start changing your systems to start creating what you need to be, so that way you can start growing your business. So that way you can start doing, $10,000 months. So that way you can start doing $10,000 weeks. I got Pink Pro Wash up in Michigan doing $10,000 weeks, making in the last 2 months he's made over $80,000. He was a garbage man.
Help me do $10,000 days. I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but we hit $10,000 days all the time doing lights.
And last year he was a garbage man, and in the last 2 months he's made more money than he made all year as a garbage man. So it is all about making sure that you have systems in place to grow your business. Number 8, actually, don't stop learning. Never stop learning. I pay for training. Donovan pays for dog training. Donovan, that's Donovan's new expensive habit is dog training right now. And
that's very expensive. I had no clue.
But he could learn all that stuff off of YouTube. He could find everything he's learning off of YouTube. But
yeah.
You know what? That dog learns a lot faster by having paid training versus YouTube at the end of the day. So don't stop learning. That is what I'm going to say. Read books, do the things you need to do to keep learning. Take classes. If you suck at sales, take sales classes. If you suck at talking on the phone, take communication classes. If you suck at marketing, take marketing classes. If you suck at pressure washing, take pressurewashhelp.com/free or pressurewashhelp.com/dates. Either one of those two things, which is an in-person class, you know, and that's not even the dates I wanted, but training dates. These are some things that you want to look at to keep learning, keep moving forward. A lot of times, did you do that, Donovan? I didn't know you could do it on your side.
Do what?
Put the biggest thing, or did that just come up? Or you know what? That was my last picture. That was me doing it. Never mind. But never stop learning. Always keep moving forward. Always keep learning. Never stop trying to think that you know it all. I don't know it all. I went to the huge and I learned all kind of things there because I never want to stop learning. I try to figure out whatever I can because you know what I've learned here recently in the last probably couple years. I know I got enough haters out there that people will be like, all you want is money. All you want is money, Jason. You can find it all on YouTube for free. You're right. You can go and take Harvard classes that are on YouTube right now for free. But do you think you're going to learn what you need to learn? Do you think you're going to learn the things that are going to grow your business? You know what I learned the biggest thing is when you open your wallet, usually your brain opens up with it. Because Donovan's training his dog. Do you think if he didn't open his wallet, wouldn't do it? No. The dog he's trying to train is a dog that will bite your tail off and give it to you for lunch and not even think twice. It isn't a little poodle doggy friendly little dog that Donovan's trying to grow. But I just wanted to hit on that is you have to make sure that you keep learning, you keep moving forward.
Well, let's take that analogy like a step farther, right? And you made a huge point right there. It's like, what do you want out of being a service business provider, right? A service based business. Um, and so let's take that into a dog analogy. Do you want a little Chihuahua? Okay, look, if you got a vicious Chihuahua, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. If it runs up and bites somebody, it's gonna suck. But a Chihuahua is never gonna kill a kid, right? A Chihuahua is never gonna. I mean, worst case scenario, it just doesn't matter. So there's a lot of people who want their business, they want to work a full-time job and they want to go out on the weekend and they want to work Saturdays and maybe Sundays or maybe a couple of days after work in the summer and make an extra couple $1,000s a month. Hey, I mean there's absolutely nothing wrong about that. But you still need to learn the proper way of like washing a house so that you don't, fry the whole electric system, so that you don't bleach the paint, and so that you don't kill the koi fish. And so there's a certain level that you need to learn, but you don't need to focus so much on the business system side of things because it doesn't really matter. You're looking after 4 or 5 jobs a month to make a couple $1,000. I mean, you just don't need all of that. And then there's other people who they want to go full time, right? So you want to have a big, strong dog, or you want to get, let's say you want to get a pit bull or something like that. And you want it to be a good family dog. You want it to be around other dogs and other people, and you just want like a big dog, but you're not training it to do a job, right? And so these are your business owners, so they just want to be in business for themselves. Man, nah, the Chihuahuas aren't even the ankle biters, man. The Chihuahuas are like, I mean, the $99 ankle biters, and I don't even think Chihuahuas are up to $99, man. Them things are like glorified cats. Um, but so the business owner who he wants to answer all of his phone calls, he wants to go out and do the work, and he wants to be able to take weekends off, take holidays off. He wants to tell his boss to shove it, right? He finally did that. He made the leap, and he's also okay, like not even like working during the winter time or he's okay with downtime. He just wants to control his own schedule. Well, you're going to have to get good, and you're going to have to start learning a little bit about business systems. You're going to have to get your knowledge about that. You are definitely not going to get all of that off of YouTube and go right out the bat. And you're going to have to take some training. You're going to have to read some books. You're going to have to do some of these things. Or you're going to have to spend 10, 15 years figuring it out. And you're probably going to struggle for a while before you actually can make decent income and a decent living doing it that way. And then you got the people who want to have working dogs. Or you want to have like a game bred pit bull. Or, you want to have a powerful dog that has a purpose behind it. So my puppy, he's 50% Malinois, 50% German Shepherd. He looks like a police dog. And, my goal is if anybody comes around the shop, that he encourages them to leave. And, we're also going to do some sports. We're going to do some bike sports and stuff like that. And what I'm learning quickly is that everything that I learned from YouTube, whatever, it gave me the foundation when he was a puppy, but I quickly got and way over my head. There's no way that I could take this dog for what he's bred to do and what I'm trying to do and handle it all myself. I have to learn twice as much as he does because he picks up on it. He's a dog. But my ability to teach him there is not there. Most people, they get in business for themselves and they go from a weekend warrior to a full-time operator, and then they get so busy with that they're like, okay, well, I have to, I have to hire somebody for the office, or I have to get 3 or 4 or 5 crews. I'm going to talk my friends and my family into this, and we're going to build this big business and make all this money. And then they want to, like, they I was about to say something mean, but they essentially get in way over their heads and they're not making any money. They don't understand business. They don't understand their systems, and they get to the point where they're ready to quit and give it up and get a job, or they're um, avid about getting some training and developing systems so that they don't have to live like that anymore. And it usually comes from a place of desperation, right? Something changes in their life, like they had their first kid, and they're like, "Holy cow! I mean, it was okay for me to run a crappy business when it was just me and my wife, but now that I got kids, like I got to get serious about this." So if that's your case, if you ever want to get off the truck, or if you ever want to have a business that produces without you going out there and breaking your back, it is imperative that you get some training, that you get some sort of mentorship. I'm just going to be honest with you. You can't get it off YouTube. You absolutely just can't. You got to tie in with somebody who has the knowledge and, more importantly, is willing to teach you. So
And this is something that I see over and over. Donovan sees over and over. He's been trying to buy. There's a guy coming to him wanting to buy his business because he's burnt out. They've been in it 3 4 years and they got 1 or 2 employees. They never put the right systems in place. They've never done the things they needed to do, and they're burnt out. They're not making. They're making okay money, but it's just one of those headaches that just isn't going away. That they can't figure it out. A lot of times it's one of those things, it's the whole, and I know people will be like, well, coaches all, you're coached through, when you have a kid, they're coached all the way through their whole life, through soccer or basketball or that. And then you don't see these guys so Michael Jordan was coached all the way through college. You didn't see him going through his professional without a coach the whole time. Why is that? Because that coach should bring out what's best in you. Now, I'm not saying all coaches are good. Some coaches they suck. That's just part of it. That's just what it is. But if you find a good coach, they can take you to the next level. They can make you 10 times better than what you would ever need to do at the end of the day.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So the next thing is if you are just starting out and wanting to learn either pressure washing or Christmas lights, we are having a class in Raleigh the September the 17th through the 19th, I think. Donovan's shop. If we're doing Christmas lights is super profitable. Christmas lights is almost retarded profitable. And so we were going to have a class down in Raleigh. It is a great class. It is a 2-day class. It's actually going to be pressure washing will be Friday. If you want to do pressure washing and Christmas lights, that's a whole package deal. If you just want to do pressure washing or you only want to do Christmas lights, that's a package deal. But pressure washing will be all Friday. There's not going to be no marketing or nothing like that on Friday. And then on Saturday is all marketing. It's going to be all safety and aerial safety. So that way you kind of learn that. We're going to go over CRMs. I'm actually going to go a little bit more in depth than what I have before in my other classes. And then on Sunday is going to be all about Christmas lights. Now, this year we did do some different things that if you have an employee that you want to send employees to get trained for Christmas lights, we are going to have Christmas light training on Sunday. We will put a little bit of ladder safety in there, but most of the ladder safety and all that's going to come on Saturday afternoon after marketing. So that way, whether you're there for pressure washing or Christmas lights, you're going to get ladder safety training. Because I don't want nobody falling off and getting hurt. I don't want nobody to die of that kind of stuff. So Christmas lights is definitely something that, would you do Christmas lights if you lived in Buffalo? Absolutely, I would. There's a ton of money up that way, and that's what you want to do. You kind of got to change when you put them up and get them down, but there's a ton of money there to be made in Christmas lights. So Christmas lights is definitely something that I love and passionate about. Donovan has became loved and passionate about it because he did almost $250,000 in Christmas lights in year 3, which was technically almost about year 2, but that's fun. And so Christmas lights are amazing. So you got any words on it?
Yeah, so I get a real good sense of enjoyment, right? And just with my personality, when I'm passionate or when I'm enjoying something, I'm going to do it a lot more. I'm gonna be honest with you, like gutter cleaning, power wash, and window cleaning, that sort of pays the bill. I enjoy every now and again getting out and working up a sweat or whatever, but I genuinely enjoy actually hanging Christmas lights. And the reason for that is it actually makes a pretty big impact in people's lives. Um, I mean, and even when it doesn't make like a huge impact, like it brings like families together. It seems like everybody kind of goes around. They enjoy seeing the lights. You get all these compliments and everything else, and you get people while we're putting up the big displays or like doing HOAs or something. People roll down the windows. Are like, "Thank you so much. I look forward to this every single year. It brings us so much joy." And you just don't get that from a lot of service type businesses, right? What it's like sometimes when we're doing service business, like whether you're a mechanic or something like that, it's like, oh, this is the crap I don't want you to do. So I'm going to just pay you to do it so I don't have to handle it. You know, but with Christmas lights, it's one of those things like, and Jason, I know you've run into this. We've talked about it before, but every year we got a couple of clients where it's like their last Christmas and they decide, hey, this is what we're going to do to try to honor the family member, or you get a kid who's fighting a certain battle, or, maybe a kid who their mom or dad's a soldier and didn't come back from overseas. And you get situations like that where you can actually make a true impact in people's lives. And it's so crazy. Like I have very few people run up to me and be like, "Hey, you're the gutter guy." But I could be out and about, and they're like, "Hey, you're the Christmas light guy." Um, so it's something that I really, really, really enjoy, and it's something that because I've run into those situations where it has made such an impact on people's lives, like I take it really seriously too. When I tell somebody, like, "Hey, I get that this is a premium service, but literally once you approve the design, we are going to take care of everything else, and we are going to make it the most memorable, like special holiday that you've ever experienced." Like I take that real seriously. And it kind of goes back into everything else that we've talked about. Like that's one reason why I am premium is because I want to be able to afford, like, whatever. Say that little kid, his dad's coming home for Christmas or something like that, and he's been overseas and he gets special leave or something like that to come home, but he only has a couple of days home. Like I want to make sure those lights are working. So if I got to head out there 2 days before Christmas or something like that, last minute to fix some lights, I want to make sure that I have the manpower to do it, and then I got the expertise and the materials on hand, and then I can afford to do it. So it's really like a culmination of everything that we've talked about today. The right customer, the right mindset, the right price. And it's something that I'm just so passionate about that every time I start talking to a customer about it, it comes across and it's natural. It's not like a sleazy salesman type thing.
And so in this training, it's all hands on. It's all you do it, and we show you how to do it, and you get to do it. It's not, hey, watch Jason spray a building. Hey, watch Jason put Christmas lights up. We have a house that is leveled with that's 3-4 feet off the ground. That way you can hang the lights on the gutter. All of those things, so that way we can show you how things work. So it's not just Jason showing you, it's you getting to do it. Because,
Right.
if you're just going to watch somebody, you don't need to come to class at that point. It's not
Yeah,
going to do you no
just
good.
be
So that
Jason.
is something that I'm going to hit on. I'm going to hit on a couple more questions right here because you are 100%. Not everybody on YouTube is a good coach, and not everyone on YouTube has the best interests in heart. And you're 100% right, Robert. I see it a lot of times that there. I can name you a bunch, but I'm not going to. Like I've said, I do have a membership. That's how I make my money. But I've pretty much given everything out there on YouTube land of how to rather start a Christmas light business, how to start a pressure wash business from start to finish. Yes, you're going to have to go dig for it, but it's out there, guarantee it. So even my Christmas lights, if you haven't checked out my Christmas light channel, I do have a Christmas light channel. You can go check out christmaslightshelp.com/YouTube, and that will take you to there. Actually, I will be having live every Monday night is when I'm doing that, giving information because I want to make sure you all are successful. I want you all to be successful. Jason, excellent topics. Where do you recommend to get this kind of coaching mentorship? I don't personally have. I have one that's $2.99 a month. I'm not pushing that at all, and I'm not pushing any one or the other. There's maybe one out there that I would maybe consider pushing, but I'm not going to say it right now. But there is somebody that if you're in that level now, for the person I'm telling about this person, you got to be about that $250,000 to $500,000 level before it's a really good fit for you. You got to be off the truck. You got to be trying to get to that next level. So if you're still in that trying to grow phase, that's going to be a different type of person at that point. Everybody except Jason, and so I just try to help you guys grow. I know I've given a lot of information out here. Jason must be mad at me. He skips my response and helpful advice. You just give lots of helpful advice, and I've been trying to get through a lot of these other ones. I'm not mad at you, F-Bomb. And so this is definitely something when you go for how much is the good amount for a starter Christmas light business budget. You don't need a lot, honestly. Even if we come to our training, the one that's either one for the Christmas light, we're going to give $250 credit, which is enough to get us $300 starter package is what we're going to sell, what it's going to kind of go for. And so that one house that you get that starter package, it's a C9s, all your plugs, all your electric, it would be enough to make your worth for your one house. And so one house could pay pretty much for your class. And so it is definitely something that you can look at and do. Christmas lights isn't real expensive to get into. The biggest thing you got to have with Christmas lights is the safety equipment. You need either Cougar Paws or you don't either. You need Cougar Paws, you need a Goat or a Ridge Pro, and you don't have to, but I would highly recommend those. And then you need a 28-foot ladder. And if you need a 40-foot ladder, you could go rent it for a day and take that stupid thing back because nobody likes the 40-foot ladder. But those are some things that you can do and look at.
Yeah, so we are definitely talking on a power washing channel. So I would say like the power washing season is not over. I get that we're kind of ramping down, but like y'all can still go balls to the walls and make a lot of money. Like don't slow down before the finish line. Like go till you get frozen out, right? Now, if you're passionate about Christmas lights, here's what I'm going to say. Make sure you can work off a ladder or work on the roof. If you can't do that, focus on power washing. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, while you can make some money, you're not going to love it and be like passionate about it like I am. So if you step on if you get 3 or 4 feet off the ground and your legs start shaking, how are you going to get up there, 2 stories up in the air and be hanging bulbs off the side of the roof? Like it's just not going to happen. So that's my prerequisite for Christmas lights. You got to be able to work at heights. If you can't work at heights, just don't think about it, right? Now, my process would be get some training, and I'm not just trying to push our training, but get some training. Go with a premium priced, essentially like a lease, full of an all-inclusive service model. And if you don't understand what that means, you need to watch our lives every Monday, or you need to get some training. All right. And then you're going to sell jobs. You're going to collect a 50% deposit. You're going to use that money to buy your materials. You own the materials. You're not selling them to the client. You go, you install the lights starting at the end of October, going into November. You collect the other 50% at the time you install it, and then you purchase more materials and hang up more houses. So you could do that by purchasing training. If you're going to come to Raleigh, it's going to cost you whatever, $600 for the one day. If you're sending an employee, it's going to cost, I don't know, $1,500 or something like that for your full, like, to learn the business side and the how-to side. But you also, with that, you're going to get, like Jason said, $300 worth of actual lights. And you can use that to put lights up on your own house. You can start the marketing now. There's so much that you could do. And you can do it with very little money. I think my first year I put maybe $2,000 I probably put $3,000 into lights, and then I flipped it several times. As I installed it, I took that money and I bought more lights. I paid a little bit more for shipping to get it there quickly. And then I did that 2 or 3 times, and I was installing jobs all the way up to the 24th of December. So you got 2 or 3 months that you can do that in, and just keep flipping it, and your 2,000 turns into 5,000, turns into 15,000, turns into, you can keep doing it. And I think my first year we did like either 15 or 20,000, somewhere in there. So I didn't make a ton of money, but I learned quite a bit.
Yes, put Christmas light signs everywhere, and yes, the $250 package for Christmas or October class is also, so that is both
Yeah.
of them.
Now, not if you do the employee only day, but if you do
Right.
the business and the so we're for larger companies that have a lot of employees that need to get trained. We're doing an employee only day, which is the hands-on Christmas day. So that's like a $600 option. So you can send an employee or whatever, and we got a lot of companies that are sending 1, 2, 3 guys, and they don't need to learn the marketing and the advertising stuff like that, or they've already taken our class. We got a couple of guys who've already taken it, and now they're just sending employees. So we're doing that just honestly to let them save a little bit of money.
Yep. Awesome. Any words of encouragement before we
Keep a
get
good
off here?
attitude. Yeah, if you need to kind of like know yourself. So if you're kind of like me, that's like, ooh, squirrel. Or you got those high highs and those low lows. Like, you need to realize about yourself, and you need to like put yourself in a position where it's kind of holding you accountable. So if you need some good encouragement, make sure, you're thinking about Christmas lights. Make sure you're available on Mondays to watch Jason's live, or make sure that you're available on Thursdays or Sundays, or to do his lives. Make sure that helps you stay accountable and keeps your mindset positive. And even if you never give Jason a dollar, or you don't give me a dollar, that's not our primary driver here. We're doing that because we need to make a living. But if Jason and I will be regularly, one of us, both of us, whatever, through Facebook or through YouTube, we'll be regular, so you can use us to keep that positive mindset. And so long as you do that and you learn one thing a week or one thing a month, you'll be good to go. So don't feel like you got to pay somebody $1 million. We want you to be so successful and get so much value out of what we're kind of giving away for free that you choose to do business with us. We don't want somebody giving us their last dime thinking like this is the only way that I can be successful. I don't think you should go that route. Just keep a positive mindset. Use the YouTube or the Facebook lives to stay positive. And then, if you can support our business, then go ahead and do it, and it'll be a win-win.
Is it feasible to start a Christmas light with no employees?
Heck yeah. I mean, I did everything myself for year one because I was so dang busy with my cleaning business that I was like, honestly, I didn't even want to do a Christmas light business. It was Jason Geiman and Fred Zimmerman kind of talked me into it, and I was just like, oh, I'll learn this year. I'm just gonna learn some stuff, and then I'll do it next year. And they were both like, Donovan, you're an idiot, just do it. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it, but I'm not gonna have any of my employees do it because if I'm gonna lose money, I just want to lose some of my own time. So I did 100% of it myself. And even last year, I mean, we did 225, or no, we did over 250, with just two employees besides myself. So
And this here comment is, and this is what I'm going to leave off on, is take massive action.
yeah,
It's not just take a little action. We have to take massive action. We want to be hyper focused. We want to be relentless. We want to be everything we need to do to keep us going, moving forward. That's what we're going to do to grow a business, be successful, and change your family future. If that's what you're looking to do, you can't sit there and do nothing and think you're going to get something out of it. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep taking action. And we're not just take action. We got to take massive action. We have
Yeah.
to, we have to 10x it. We have to, if our competitors are posting once a day on Facebook, we're posting 10 times on Facebook. You know what?
Yeah.
Because that's taking massive action. If our customer's putting out 100 signs a month, we're putting out 400 signs a month. Take massive action. When you take massive actions, things will happen. I don't care what you do. I don't care what it's in. When you take massive actions, things will happen. Hope to see you in Raleigh. If not, I'll see you on Sunday. And actually, tomorrow night is Monday night. Go check out Pressure Wash Help or ChristmasLightsHelp.com/Chris or YouTube, and that is be there. Also, if you're thinking about Christmas lights, you can go to what's the Facebook group?
Christmas light contractors. There's a few different Christmas light groups on Facebook, and I will just encourage you, um, or I'll just put it this way: we are very protective about people who join our group to make sure they're not getting harassed or bad information or just spammed all the time with buy 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 buy. So that's what I'll say because we run that group, Christmas light contractors. In my opinion, it's the best group there is on Facebook.
And yes, I did put my hotel that I'm staying at when you pay for the thing, so that way it's actually really close to his shop, and
Yeah.
that way you can see that it's not down the street where the last
Yeah,
guy's bid wasn't
don't
very
South
good.
New Bern, man. That's crackhead central.
So Midtown is where we're staying at. So hope you all have a good night, and we'll see you later.